two damn phones. Babylons can't crack the code.
Welcome back, and this episode is going to be really short. I owe you an apology. I didn't film everything that I did today. I'm just now starting filming, and I think I'm going to wrap it up right here. I don't think I'm going to do much else. So I'm sorry that I didn't film this stuff, but I'll walk you through everything that I did just so you can get an idea of what was going on today. You can see here that the block is stripped down. The head is set aside, and pistons are out. I removed cam caps, rails, head bolts, oil pump, crankshaft seal cover, oil pan, water pump, crank pulley, rear timing cover, left engine mount bracket, timing belt tensioner, timing belt pulley, oil pickup, oil baffle plate. That's everything that I've removed today. I have most of the stuff sitting over here to the side. Only thing left on the block is the crankshaft and the crank caps. I don't think I'm going to remove these today because I don't have a place to store the crankshaft where I would consider safe, where it won't warp. So I want to leave it sitting in its holding place now until I'm ready to take the block somewhere and do anything else with it. I have broken down and I have decided to get the block and head hot tanked. I think it's just going to do a lot better for me. I cleaned it up as best I could, but I believe that I want to get it hot tanked to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can. Inspecting the crankshaft, I didn't see any major wear. I don't think I'll have to have it polished or finished off. I'm just going to leave it as is. Everything looks good. I didn't see any wear on the bearings that was abnormal. I didn't see any significant scoring in the cylinder walls. I'm not going to have the machine shop hone this for me. I'm just going to have them hot tank it, and then I'll hone it myself with a dingleberry hone. There's some light discoloration, which I believe is from where the engine sat so long. Nothing that I'm worried about. I believe that with the hone, that'll clean that right up and make sure that nothing is wrong with it. And you can even see where the cylinder stops. So I'm not worried about it. I'll just clean this up with the hone, and that'll be all I do to the cylinder walls. On the rod bearings, there is a little scratch in there. You can see the scratch there. I didn't see a scratch to match this on the crankshaft, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to change these bearings out. I'm not going to be using these rods or pistons, so I just put them aside. They're in order 1, 2, 3, 4. I've marked my bearing colors down for all my cylinders, and when I pull the crank caps off, I'll mark the bearing colors for those down as well to make sure I order the right size bearings. So with all that said, I guess you're wondering what today's video is going to be about, since I'm pretty much done on the engine today. I need to clean up a little bit, make sure that I store everything in a good place, and I don't want to leave it laying around where I'll misplace it or it might get lost. I've been keeping everything organized, as you can see with the baggies. So today's video is just going to be kind of, let's talk about what we're going to do next. Next up, we're going to be taking the block and the head apart. I'm going to take the head apart separately. I'm going to take the block to get hot tanked, and I'm going to take the head to get hot tanked so they're nice and clean. And then we'll start the rebuild, replacing all seals, gaskets, O-rings, anything that's rubber or worn is going to get replaced. Then I got another package today also. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen these. We've got CP pistons. How about that? Those things are beautiful. Compared to the old pistons, these things look amazing. You know, I know they're going to be tucked away and hidden in the engine, so it's kind of pointless to have something this shiny. But man, I almost want a pair of these just to hang around to show what's in the engine, because they're too pretty to be tucked away. Eventually they'll look like that, which is awful. I don't know if you can tell, but these pistons are domed pistons. These are flat top pistons. So if you know anything about engine building, you know there are two ways you can go. You can either go high compression, naturally aspirated, or you can go low compression and forced induction. My plan is to go low compression, forced induction, so I went with the low top piston rings. That'll increase the area of the combustion chamber, which will lower the compression. So now you're probably wondering what's next. Next, I'll start to disassemble the cylinder head. I'm going to be removing all the components. That's because I've got all new cylinder head components. Only thing I'll be reusing from the old cylinder head is the valves. This is the only area of concern for me. If you notice, all the valves are black, which is fine. That's just carbon buildup. But then there are these two valves here and these two valves here. They look almost brown in color. And these are a little bit light also. I'm not sure what that's from. I think it's from when I cleaned the engine. Some water may have gotten into the cylinders and leaked down into those valves, but I'm not quite sure about that, so I have to check on why they'd be brown. So once I figure out why those valves are brown or discolored, I think it is from where I washed the engine. I'm not too worried about it, but I'll research it just to make sure there's nothing detrimental going on, and then I'll start to disassemble the cylinder head. The block is disassembled. All I have to do is take the crank out, and I'll do that the day that I take the block and the cylinder head to get hot tanked. I don't want to take it out now, as I said, because I want to store the crank in it and use it as a proper storing place instead of having to store it standing up on end and worry about it tipping and then being warped or getting hurt. So I want to make sure I do it right. I'm not going to get my crank micro polished. I'm going to leave it as is. I didn't see any significant scoring. There was no marks on it. So I think new bearings, check the clearances, and then we'll be good. I still have to do some work on finding what bearings I need. I need to reference some Honda manuals to make sure that brown bearings and green bearings and what their clearance difference is. I do want ACL bearings. They have a standard size bearing that I can't order. I may order those. I don't know. I'll wait and see what the brown and green bearing sizes are and then decide if I want to go with ACL bearings or Honda OEM bearings and get the brown and green bearings again. Pistons, you saw we're going to do new pistons, new rods. I've got new bolts for those as well. So these pistons are going to be trash. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I'd like to kind of keep them as a memento of what this engine used to be and where it's going to be. I even thought about hanging one off the back of the car from the tow hook just so people can see that this is a built car. But I'm not sure about that yet. I'm not that flashy or braggadocious to do something silly like that. So we'll just see how it goes. There's not going to be any actual work in this video. It's just going to be me talking. So I apologize about that again. I should have recorded today, but it's been a long week, long weekend, and today's Sunday, and I just kind of wanted to work with my head down, not worry about camera. So again, I apologize for it. But thanks for tuning in to watch, and we'll see you next time.
Rob Stone, 2 damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code.